In tonight's Meth Watch, while he was in prison for making and dealing meth, Mikael Luman decided he didn't want to be a meth addict anymore. Last week, we told you about Luman, a Portland man who heard about Meth Watch from a friend and wanted to tell his story. How after 8 years of making, selling, and using methamphetamine, he landed behind bars. Well, we continue Mikael's story tonight with how his recovery has turned into a life-changing adventure.
I mean, it takes 3 to 6 months before you really start thinking clearly. And obviously the first 3 to 4 weeks is pretty much just sleeping and depressed and, trying to figure out how you're going to get your life back on track.
And it wasn't long after that when Mikael Luman decided not to be a victim of methamphetamine.
The first thing I did is, I decided that I was going to make a change, and that I wanted to be different.
It was a change even his father noticed over the phone.
The last time he was arrested, when he was in St. Helens, he called and wanted me to bail him out. And I said, I'm not going to do it. And about 2 weeks later, when he called, you could tell he was different.
After a few months behind bars, Luman was accepted to the prison boot camp program.
At that point, I was trying to come up with a solution to, keeping people from using. And the idea I came up with then was, they needed to have some type of life skills classes in schools that, prepared and educated kids for, possible mishaps and things that were going to happen later on in their life that would keep them from the addiction.
And that's when the idea of a generation free hit him.
I was looking at people that were 35, 40, 45, 50 that had been doing the same thing for 30, 35 years, that no matter what they learned when they were in prison wasn't going to change the outcome when they got out.
He says it's the idea that all things are possible when you're free, but he didn't end his great ideas there. Next week, we'll tell you how Mikael takes a generation free to a whole new level and how he'll spend the next few months on the road.